Welcome to this class all about Alberta and British Columbia vital records. My name is Megan and I am Canadian. If you are watching this class, you probably have some Canadian roots as well. I live in southern Alberta and my ancestors have lived in Alberta and British Columbia. My great-great-grandfather was one of the first settlers in Fort Calgary, and I have some great-grandparents that after coming west, settling in Alberta, decided to go a little further west to Vancouver, which I can't really blame them. So today we are going to be talking about vital records in Alberta and British Columbia. As I started doing some family history work, I realized that these vital records are not easily available online. You have to do a little more digging than just logging on to Ancestry or FamilySearch. So we are going to get started. First, we will talk about Alberta vital records, and then we will talk about British Columbia vital records. Be sure to get the PDF download of the class outline so that you can use this information on your own as you do some of your research on your family tree. Okay, so first of all, for Alberta vital records. So like I said, these are not available on Ancestry or FamilySearch. There is an index on Ancestry that I will show you in a bit. But first of all, we just want to go to the Provincial Archives of Alberta, and I will show you what is available here. So this, you would just do a Google search for Provincial Archives of Alberta, and you can go to find birth, marriage, and death records. So I'm just going to show you what time frames are available because due to privacy laws, you can't get every vital record that is in existence, okay? You need to wait until those are available publicly or apply to get those if you are a close relative. Okay, so we're just going to scroll down here and it tells you what is available. So at the Provincial Archives of Alberta, you have access to birth records that are 120 years or older from the date of birth. So we are in 2021, so we would have birth records prior to 1901, possibly 1900, depending on when they switch this over for this year. Okay, so if you have an ancestor that was born after that, you're not going to be able to get their birth record unless you apply for it, and you will have to pay more for that, I believe. I have not done that. Okay, there are also marriage records that are 75 years or older from the date of marriage. Death records that are 50 years or older, so death records are more readily available. And you can get stillbirth records that are 75 years or older from the date of stillbirth, okay? So you need to take a look at what records you're looking for, if those time frames fit into those years before you start spending hours looking for a record that you might not even be able to have access to yet. Okay, they also have indexes here on the website, on the Provincial Archives website. So if you are looking for a birth, you could go to this birth index and you can look through it here. It is a lot easier on Ancestry, but I do want to show you how to do it here because I have run into times when I haven't found it on the Ancestry index or something wasn't quite right on there. So that is possible. So it says birth registrations from 1870 to 1900 are available. I'm filming this in 2020. So they I'm not sure when 1901 will be available. Okay, so it tells you what is on these indexes. It has the name. I'm not sure if you can see that very well. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, so you can see the name, the place of birth, and then it has a registration number and then the year. So to order these records, you need to have that information, and these indexes provide that information. Okay, so these indexes are organized alphabetically by surname and then by the year. Okay, so when you are looking for these, you're going to look at their surname alphabetically first and then find the year. Okay, so then it gives you some information about how to locate these. Select the first letter of the surname, find the index of when they were born, and then take a look through those pages. So let's just dig in and I'll show you how to do this before I show you how to use the Ancestry index. Okay, so I am going to, maybe I don't have a specific ancestor that I'm looking for. My surname is very unique, and so I'm just going to see what there is. Okay, so my maiden name was Fries, which is not a very common name, but I did have ancestors that settled, like I said, in Calgary in the late 1800s. So we're just going to click on F here, and you can see they're all divided. So we have F, G, H, I, J. So we're just going to click on F. Sometimes the years are divided further down than that. Okay, so that brings you to this PDF that you can look through the index. There's just 9 pages, so it shouldn't be too hard to look through. And you can see that there's 2 columns here. So the first column, so it has the name, place of birth, the registration number, and then the year. Okay, so 1878, there was only one birth registered that had the surname that started with F. So you can just look through all of these and see what you can find. Okay, so here on page 2, I found a Mabel Fries that was born in Calgary, has the registration number, and she was born in 1891. Okay, so now that you have found the index and the one that you want to order, you can go back to the Find Birth, Marriage, and Death Records, and you can click here on the online payment system to order them online. You may want to download this PDF guide to help you order it because there are a few little quirks with it, but it is fairly easy to order. So digital copies are $5.25 per copy. You can also order photocopies, which are 79 cents for each copy, and then it is $3.15 to mail them, and that's within Canada, and then it is $6.30 to mail internationally. So if you are ordering a lot of them, it is probably cheaper to order photocopies. You would just want to have all of those ready when you're going to order them so that shipping is one cost for all of those copies. So I'm not going to show you exactly how to do that just for the sake of time, but you would just need to order those here. So now maybe you don't want to look through all of those pages of the indexes. There is an index on Ancestry, so I'm going to show you how to get to that. We're just going to go to search once we are on Ancestry. If you have a subscription there, go to the card catalog. And then if you just type Alberta in the keyword, just hit search. Those should come up here, and then you can see these Alberta, Canada Death Index, Marriage Index, and Birth Index. So if we click on the Birth Index, we're just going to look for that again. You can see there's only 6,600 records. So that's because, Alberta is a fairly new province, and they only have up to 1900 or 1901, hopefully by the time this is available. So we're just going to put in a surname here of Fries, and you can make it exact if you want. If you have a name that may have been spelled different ways, you can put sounds like or similar, sound X. Okay, you can try all those things. I'll just leave it empty, and I'm just going to look for any of them. Okay, like I said, my name is fairly uncommon, and probably all of the Frieses that were in this location at that time are related to me. So it brings up these 5 people who were born, and when you view the record, so let's just go to that Mabel one just so we can compare the information. So see, it has Mabel Fries, female, 1891, Calgary, and it has that same registration number. So then you could just take that same information to the Provincial Archives website and order those there. If you do click here to order a copy of the certificate, it does take you right to that website where you can order them. Okay, so there are also marriage and death records indexes as well on here. If you do look at the years, so this has just till 1896. So if you are looking for someone born in 1900, you will need to go to the Provincial Archives website and look for those there. They might be updating those soon. I'm not sure why those aren't available yet. But they do have 1942 and to 1966 for death indexes. So it just works the same way. If you click on these indexes and search for the person that you're looking for, I'm going to look for my grandparents for their marriage. If they're not a very common last name, you can just search their last name. Alberta is not a very big province, so chances are you will find it. But if you have a very common name like Smith, you might want to put in some more information there. But if we look there, then we can see maybe there's some other relatives that we didn't know about, that we can see how they're related to us. So I'm just going to click on this Earl H. Ellingson. That's my grandfather. So now we have his marriage date 1939, and we can go ahead and order that record. So I actually did order that marriage record for my grandparents. I ordered that when digital copies were not available. So I do have a photocopy of their marriage record. So I just thought I would show you what that looks like. So it has their name, their names, the place of the marriage, the date of the marriage, and names of their parents. So all of that good information. Marriage records are really great for providing names of parents, birth information if that was recorded, because those people were there present for their own marriage, and they are more likely to provide correct information than, say, a death record, when we don't know exactly who's providing those dates or the names of those parents. Okay, so marriage records are really great records to look for. So I hope that helped you to find some Alberta vital records for your ancestors. You have to do a little more work than just typing their name in online and having the record pull up. Okay, so for British Columbia vital records, FamilySearch does have a lot of these records online for free, but there are some gaps. So I just went to search and then records. This is a great way to access record collections on FamilySearch. Click on Browse All Published Collections. And then you can just narrow down by location. So we're going Canada and then British Columbia. Okay, so this gives you all the collections that are for British Columbia. You can see that there's birth registrations from 1854 to 1903. Those have images. Death registrations do not have images. And then there's marriage registrations. There is a 5-year gap between 1932 and 1937. Those are available to 1938. Okay, so those are great. You can see there's not too many records. There's lots of marriages, a few births, because 1903, again, British Columbia is a very young province. But I'm going to show you where you can find these records that fill in some of these gaps. So we're going to go to the BC Archives, which if you just put in Google search BC Vital Records, BC Archives, this will come up. You can go to the genealogy part of the page. If you click under here on BC Archives on the left-hand column there. And this gives you information about searching for these vital records. Okay, so the one thing to take in mind here is that when you're searching for BC vital records on this website, the words have to be exact, or you need to use wildcards. Okay, it's not like Ancestry or FamilySearch where they will have results there that are close. They need to be exact. So it does explain that here, that you can use a wild card, just the asterisk symbol, in place of characters. So if you have a first name, like you even have to have the middle names. You can't just have their first name, whatever was written on the record. So if you know their first name, but you're not sure if it was actually their middle name or not, you can put an asterisk before and after, so that this is an example of Lena. It could be Lena or Nellie Lena or Helena. Okay, so you want to try those out if you're not finding what you're looking for. Also, for the last name, you can put an asterisk there for anything to be after those letters that you put in, or you can put an asterisk to fill in any letters that you're not sure what those are. Okay, so I am just going to show you how to do that. So it does tell you what is available. 1854 to 1903, that's the same as what is in FamilySearch. So it might be a little easier to search for those in FamilySearch. Marriages, I think most of those have images on here. I have ran into a few where images are not available, but there's going to be marriages on here, whereas on FamilySearch there are not. And then deaths from 1872 to 1999, which is quite recent to have those available. Colonial marriages, and then baptisms. So you can find a lot more on here than you can on FamilySearch. And the great thing is that all of these are free. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to look for Let's look for a death record. Okay, these are great because they're pretty recent. You can get up to 1999, which is one of the most recent I've seen for death records. Okay, so I'm just going to search for any records of my family line. Sherwood is my great-grandparents that immigrated over to Vancouver. Maybe I'll even put in my great-grandfather's name, William. We will put in a little asterisk because his middle name was Oliver, but I'm not sure if it was William O or Oliver that would have been on these records. So we're just going to do a search. You could put in a lot of this information, event ranges, all of that, but I'm just going to leave it blank. I find that it's better to start very broad and then go more specific if you are being swamped with results. Okay, so we're just going to hit search and see what comes up. So I just have 9 results. That's enough that I can just look through those. Okay, so we have a groom, William Sherwood. That one does not look familiar to me. They might be related somehow. Here's a William Oliver Sherwood and a death. So you can see that there's not an image for this record, which is very sad. But normally there's this little JPEG that you can open up there. But for him, it does not have it there. There's another William Sherwood. This one also doesn't have an image. So it seems like there's some death records that don't have images. Okay, so I don't believe any of those are actually for my ancestor, but let's just take a look at one of them for this William John Sherwood who died in 1953, just to show you what they look like. Okay, so once you get this image, you can download it just by right-clicking on it and save image as. You can save that to your computer. But this gives you the place of death, where they were living, their name, residence. It gives you a lot of information. So once you get that vital record, that death record, then you can save that to your own database. You can upload it to wherever you keep your family tree as a source and help prove those relationships. Okay, I'm just going to show you what a marriage record would look like. Let's just keep that Sherwood and select marriage. I know I have some great aunts and uncles that were married in BC. So let's just hit search and see what comes up. Okay, so there's quite a few. There's 59. I might want to narrow that down a little more if I'm looking for something specific. But let's just see if one shows up. Okay, let's go back and refine that search again. Just click there on refine search. And let's put in the first name of Octavius. Now this is one that I'm not exactly sure how it would be spelled. I've seen it spelled a few different ways, so I'm just gonna do oct and just put an asterisk and see what comes up there. Okay, so here we have Octavius. It was spelled a little bit different than I've seen it spelled. So it gives you a little bit of information there, and then you can look at the image. And then you can do the same thing. You can download that and upload it wherever you keep your family tree. So it gives you the place of the marriage, name of the bridegroom, where they were born, names of their parents. Okay, it gives you lots of information, same for the bride. And then when they were married, where they were married, their signatures, and witnesses. Okay, so now let's just go back to FamilySearch. We can see this marriage was 1941. So that one would not be available on FamilySearch because they only have up to 1938. So take a look at these BC vital records if you have vital events that don't fall in these timelines, or that are death records because there are not images there. So that is how you can find vital records for Alberta or British Columbia. They are very good records. There's lots of information that was recorded in these records, so be sure to check those out if you have ancestors that lived in these Western Canadian provinces. Be sure to download the course outline so you can keep that information handy, and you can learn more from me on Instagram, Facebook, under my pages Modern Genealogy, or you can go to my website, which is moderngenealogy.ca. Thanks for watching.